Hello, everybody. This is John Paval with your Wednesday live stream action roundup here from Access Arts Live in Paris, France. Yes, that's where I'm live streaming from these days. So eat your heart out. Anyway, we have I wanted to come online to tell you about today's very interesting lineup. We have got two top cellists playing today in Tomsk, Siberia, and in Bournemouth in the UK. We have an up-and-coming organist in London, classic strings and woodwinds in Madrid, and a mix of cabaret and classics in Portland, Oregon. And I wanted to tell you about it. Especially, I wanted to tell you about this cello double header, which we have coming up. And so let me tell you about those first of all, and show you the pictures of the two cellists. Alexander Knyazev and Julian Steckel. And they're both playing music which I think is appropriate to their character. First of all, top Russian cellist Alexander Knyazev joins the Tomsk Philharmonic today to play the Saint Saens Cello Concerto, and they'll also do works by Tchaikovsky. That's at 7 o'clock in the evening out there in Siberia, which is 1 o'clock in the afternoon here in Europe, 8 o'clock in the morning on the East Coast in the US, and way too early in the day on the West Coast. But anyway, they'll start out with Tchaikovsky's Italian capriccio. They'll finish up with his variations on a Rococo theme. Russians know how to play Tchaikovsky. And then between that, they will Knyazev will be playing Saint Saens Cello Concerto in A minor. The conductor is Igor Barandeyev, who's the head conductor there at the Tomsk Philharmonic, and he's always up for bold and innovative music, which is not necessarily what this is. This is part of a Stars of the All-Russian Cello Academy program, in which top Russian cellists are performing with different symphonies around the country to promote more interest in the cello among up-and-coming young musicians and among audiences. And this cellist, Alexander Knyazev, he's in his 60s now, born in 1961. Medici TV says he's the successor of Mstislav Rostropovich, who was the ultimate Russian cellist. And he has in a long career, he's played with top symphonies all over Europe, like not just Russia, but the Vienna Symphony, the Royal Phil in London, the Bavarian Radio Symphony, the Radio France, the Göteborg Symphony, the Orchestre Nationale de France, the Prague Philharmonic, etc. And in chamber music, he's played with other top Russian musicians like Evgeny Kissin, Vadim Repin, and Boris Berezovsky. So a top guy who has also played chamber music at places like Wigmore Hall and its equivalent around Europe. And he's playing, I think very appropriately, he's playing the Saint Saens Cello Concerto from a composer steeped in the Romantic era. So this should be powerful, surrounded by all that Tchaikovsky at the same time. Okay, then, what is it, 7.5 hours later, something like that, the top German cellist, Julian Steckel, joins the Bournemouth Symphony to play Haydn's Cello Concerto, and then they will also play Mahler's Symphony Number 5 for all of you Mahler lovers out there. I know you're out there. I know some of you just adore Mahler, and those who don't. Anyway, he's younger, born I think in the early 1990s, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, in 2010, he won the ARD International Music Competition in Germany, which is a big deal. It's been onward and upward since then. So he has performed with the Gewandhaus Orchestra in Leipzig, the Bavarian Radio Phil, the Royal Phil, the Orchestre de Paris. His chamber music partners include terrific people like Janine Jensen, Christian Tetzlev, Renaud Capuçon, and Karen Gomio, who will be playing with the SWR Symphony on Friday. I'll tell you more about that later today when I do the weekly orchestral roundup. The conductor here is Karl-Heinz Steffens, who's more in the age group of Knyazev, because he was born in 1961, the same year. He's the head guy with the Norrköping Orchestra in Sweden, and was formerly the chief conductor also with the Prague Opera House. Now, the thing about Steckel is he's played in Haydn's cello concerto, and in his interviews and biographies, he talks about how his first teacher taught him to play the cello with a very light touch. So you have someone who wants to play the cello with a light touch playing Haydn, which is absolutely appropriate. And then you have this, this Russian giant playing, who's called the Rostropovich of our time, playing Saint Saens. Perfect pairing off. I should mention to you, it's the first concert is free of charge. The second one is at 8:30 in the evening European time, 3:30 in the afternoon in New York, noon in LA, a lunchtime concert. And that second one at the Bournemouth Symphony cost £11 to enjoy. So that's what I wanted to make sure you knew about this this cello double header for all you cello lovers out there. So then let's move on to the rest of today's offerings. Next up then is the Temple Church London weekly live stream. Brings to your attention up-and-coming organist and choir director Alexander Trigg, playing Elgar, Howells, and Cesar, Franck. This is at 2:15 in the afternoon European time, 9:15 on the East Coast, 6:15 in the morning on the West Coast for all you early risers in Hollywood, and a little past midnight down under in Australia. He's been the organ scholar at St. John's College, Cambridge, then got his fellowship at the Royal College of Organists, and he's doing advanced graduate studies now at the Royal Birmingham Conservatory. He's playing all over the place. So he was in Cardiff last week. Next week he'll be at All Saints Church in Tudela and St. George's Church in Hanover Square, etc. He'll play Elgar's Allegro Maestosa from Sonata in G, Howells' Rhapsody number 1 in D flat, and Cesar Franck's Chorale number 1 in E major. Then coming up later today in the evening and noontime in New York, morning on the West Coast, March Vivo live streams Eduardo Raimundo and the Concerto 1700 period string ensemble, playing 18th century works for clarinet and strings by Boccherini, Mozart, and Carl Maria von Weber. This is a concert. They always have very thoughtful concerts at March Vivo. This is one demonstrating the emergence of the clarinet in the 18th century. Raimundo, he plays with the Spanish National Orchestra and a number of Baroque or early music ensembles. It's Boccherini String Quartet number 1 in C major. It's Mozart's Clarinet Quintet in A major, Kerschel 581, and then Carl Maria von Weber's Quintet for Strings and Clarinet in B flat major. Raimundo, they'll be playing on original instruments. Raimundo playing on a copy of an 8-keyed Clarinet d'Amore, and then a copy of a 12-keyed Romantic Clarinet. And the Concerto 1700 people, they play on traditional strings from that period. If you're really interested in the clarinet and that kind of music, it's hard to find how you can do better. And then the day finishes up with one more live stream, and this is from the Old Church in Portland, Oregon. They will be live streaming a performance by Sharon Fendricks and Stephanie Torres de los Santos, singing the music of Kurt Weill and Jacques Brel in a concert called The Human Condition in Song. De los Santos is more of a storyteller. Hendricks is more of an operatic singer. And that's what we have for you for the livelong day today. I hope that one, some, or any of these uplifts you, inspires you, or shows you a heck of a good time. Before I conclude, let me remind you, we have sunlight pouring in the window here in Paris because it's the springtime. Let me remind you that if you like this kind of music, follow and or subscribe to Access Arts Live on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Threads, TikTok, X, and or LinkedIn, and we'll make sure you get more than 1,000 live links to live performances like this every year. So I will sign off now, say ciao for now, and wish you a good day. I will be back at 6 or 7 in the evening European time today, which is going to be 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon on the East Coast and 10 or 11 on the West Coast, with the weekly roundup of more orchestral works and big stage productions, including an opera coming up this weekend.